good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And we are still reading from the Steampunk Tarot deck by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Ali Fell, and they are beautiful, I must say. And it is July 23rd. So we have about a week left of the Steampunk Tarot, so I look forward to seeing what fun cards we get in these last few days. And I do have a new deck to use because a friend of mine lent them to me. But I'm going to keep it a surprise. And speaking of surprises, let's see what card we have on this beautiful Thursday. Okay, maybe not so beautiful Thursday. We have the Death card. I believe this card has come up in other decks too, so maybe go back and take a look at some of the other decks that we've looked at and kind of compare contrast with the Death card of this one, the Steampunk, with some of the other Death cards that we've pulled out. I feel like maybe the Death card is something that happens every month. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. So the Death card is, of course, card number 13 in the Major Arcana. 13 has its connotations attached to it, which are lucky and or unlucky. So be that as it may, death is also something that happens. It is a natural cycle of things. So unlike the Tower card being very sudden destruction and ending to something, death is sort of like this comfortable, natural transformation of things. Yes, it does depict endings. It does not always depict physical death, but it does depict a change, a movement between kind of one position to something new. So one thought process to a new thought process, or the ending of a project to something new. It can mean the ending of a relationship, a job, and all of those things that kind of go with it. It can be moving or transition from one house to another. But what the Death card does show us is that there's sort of a new beginning that happens afterwards. After we've sort of let the old die and we can move on to something bigger, better, and transform ourselves through this. That is not to say we should not grieve or meditate kind of during this time of the Death card. Let things go, experience that release. I don't think in this day and age we really take the time to live a little bit in that moment of mourning, of loss, and kind of take and accept it and let it go, but also feel all the emotions that go with it. We're so busy moving on to the next thing, moving on to the next thing, that we don't think about how it really feels to mourn the loss of something. So with this card, and it is kind of, the Victorian way of doing things, the huge obelisks of, gravestones and these epic graveyards that people would hang out in. And let's be real, the Victorians kind of reveled in death a little bit. So being that this is steampunk and relates back to the Victorian era, I can see how death kind of looks a little less terrifying and more almost comforting, almost like she's moving on and letting you kind of take a moment to yourself to accept what is happening. And we've got this guy in the background who's like leaving flowers on a grave and taking that moment of solitude and to grieve, to really experience it. So I kind of look at this death card really to embody that meditative state of death, that allowing transformation before it fully engulfs you and you're rolling with the next position in your life, your next job, your next whatever it is, but taking time to kind of say goodbye to the things that you did have. Taking time to say goodbye and almost congratulations for getting past something or getting on with something. So this death card, I do think, is a bit more chill. She's a little more comforting than some of the other death cards that do look very ominous. While she does have the sickle, she's not like foreboding in any way. I mean, the horse isn't like a decaying or skeletal or anything like that. It's just a horse, and she is just a woman in a white dress. And her wings, she is clearly like the angel of death in the sense of, she has the wings and that sort of depiction of angelic beauty as well. So looking at death a bit more as this embracing, nurturing, almost maternal figure in a way. I like this death card in the sense of it doesn't scare people when she comes up in a reading. So if I thought that, oh, this reading might be a little bit dark, I probably would hope for this death card in the deck rather than something else, which we've seen some of the darker, more foreboding death cards. Being that we are closing on the end of a week, maybe she just means that, it's the end of a very hard week and it's time to relax and repose for a moment. Anyway, that is our card for Thursday, and I know it's not the most cheerful of cards, but I do hope maybe it has you take the time and take a moment to breathe and meditate on things that you have done in the past and transformations for the future. Again, as always, check out the link in the description below for my website and some of the other cool things that I do. I have books and dance stuff and all kinds of crazy things that I have on here. So please check out the playlists and like, subscribe, share with your friends, make fun of me. It's all good. Enjoy, and I hope you have a wonderful Thursday, and take a moment for yourself and kind of transition into something new and exciting.